Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Penny's here just in time. Tonight's video is all about the crystal Euphoralite. It's less of a crystal and more of a group of minerals, but you know what I mean. So let's get started. So, as always, my intention is for you to find alignment with your highest self, with your path, with your soul, with your destiny, for me to help you along that path in any way that I can, and for you to have such a relaxing evening and wonderful sleep. I hope you all had a great new year and great holidays and have had a chance to kind of decompress after all that. So I'll do just a little bit of sage smoke to help clear all of that out. I've got some new lighting going, so bear with me as I figure out the best way to do that. So let's just take a few deep breaths. And breathe out. Let your body relax. Let go of the day. Let go of the past month. Find yourself here in the present moment. Let go of worrying about tomorrow. And just relax in the now. I've got a full chair tonight. I've got Penny here and lots of Penny's babies. She puts all her babies in this chair, so I think I've got about 4 or 5 in here. So, full house tonight. So, I have had I've worked with Euphoralite for many years, and it's quite a controversial one in the mineral world. Many collectors believe it's just phony, or lots of people who don't get into the energetics might write it off just on principle, but there are lots of really, really cool scientific things about it, just objectively. So I'll talk about those, and then I'll get into the energetics as well. I purchased a lot from Yuri last year, and I've been working with it for about a year now, and I've waited to do this video for quite some time, just because it's so big and I wanted to do it. I wanted to do my due diligence and do right by it. So I think now is the time to get into it. And what better time than the new year to get into some new material. So Euphoralite is a group of many, many minerals and many, many metals and many elements that is from Black Hills, South Dakota. And it's the result of a comet or an asteroid impact. And much like crystals like moldavite and Libyan desert glass, or any of those materials that are a result of an impact, it has very strong properties, but this one is different than all of those, because rather than sort of fusing them together, it created many, many layers within the earth. And this site in Black Hills, South Dakota, has been a sacred Lakota site for a long time. And they recognized that it's a power spot on the earth. It's holds many magical properties just in and of itself in the area. And it's very, very sacred. So even before they knew about the incredible materials there, they knew it was special. And these minerals that are layered within the earth have tons of rare earth elements within them. So this meteor or asteroid or comet, I'm not sure which one, but it brought with it from another solar system all of these rare earth elements and deposited them in this location. And I believe that I have heard, so I will go ahead and get out in front of this, that a lot of this is, I don't know factually 100% sure this information, but I do believe it to be true, or I would not be sharing it. But you can see how it resonates with you and make decisions for yourself. But I personally do believe this information to be true, and I have from reliable sources heard this information. So not only are there rare earth elements, but there are elements that have not been identified on the periodic table. So it could be that they are foreign elements to our earth even. So it's very, very special material, very rare material. And that's phenomenal that we've got this material here that we're able to work with and use that has come from somewhere else in the galaxy. So it's very extraterrestrial, and very unique in the mineral world. So just in those ways alone, it's very special. It has both more minerals and rare earth elements than most other crystals or minerals or composites that you will experience or come across. And I think it's so fascinating. So it gives them such a unique signature. And just as, core samples of the earth, they're extremely fascinating. And my other favorite fact about them is that they generate negative ions. So negative ions are not actually created, but they are changing the air around them. So they're not being generated in the sense that it's outputting them, but it's actually changing the quality of the air around it. And it is converting positive ions into negative ions. And positive ions, I've talked about this before, but positive ions are generated by things like electricity. So we've got them in our electronics and our cell phones and pretty much anything electrical. And we have such an imbalance of those things for most of us in our houses and in our work environments, and in most of the places we're bombarded with electricity, and that energy is chaotic. It can be damaging to our bodies, and this is all based on factual evidence. This is not woo-woo, if you will. This is, so far I'm still tracking in the real for now. So it is damaging to our bodies, to our cells at a cellular level. It breaks down. It causes all kinds of issues and imbalances within the body and within our field, within our own. We have fields outside of our bodies that are electromagnetic and can be measured up to many, many feet. I believe up to 15 feet is easily measurable by equipment. Our field that's mostly generated by our heart. And it's all affected by things like this. So we want to try and balance out that energy, and nature is an abundance of negative ions. So things like waterfalls generate, any moving water generates negative ions. And you could also even talk about this in terms of chi or ki or prana or life force. Running water generates chi, and it's a beautiful balance within nature. And things like our salt lamps, many people get salt lamps for this purpose. I keep them all over the house. I think I've got one in every room. I love them. I think they're just there's such a beautiful warm glow. But I can also tell that they really do create such a more cohesive and enjoyable and pleasant environment. So what's fascinating about Euphoralite is that it has been measured to generate up to 2,300 counts per second of negative ions, and that is 3 times the activity if you were standing in front of Niagara Falls. So it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And that's part of why they get their name, Euphoralite. It's said to generate euphoric feelings. So far we can track all of this factually. Some of the rare earth elements that are found. So this piece, for example, is called ascension. So each layer that comes up Gary comes up with a name, and I'll get to this in just a moment, but as we're talking through some of these cool things, this has iridium in it. As an example, it's also got zinc, platinum, cadmium, tin, and manganese. So lots of these. It's also got gold, silver, mica, albite, loingite, which is a type of pyrite material, and tourmaline. So just as an example, one little piece like this could have up to all of those in it. So just in and of themselves, they are incredible pieces of science, incredible pieces of geology, and a way to have and experience rare earth elements and combinations that are unique and fun. So that's the science part, and I'll backtrack a little bit and talk about how they came to be. And again, this is parable, if you will. So I may not have this exactly 100% right, but from the stories that I have heard, this is how it has gone down. So the man that is responsible for Euphoralites, his name is Gary, and he is, as just looking at him and talking to him, the most down-to-earth, normal, regular guy that you could meet. And he lives in South Dakota, and he was, one day he saw a person wearing some blue tourmaline, and he asked the person where they found it or where they got it, and they said that they had found it locally. And he felt incredibly drawn to it and incredibly called to work with this material, and just in the passing of seeing this material. And he made an effort to, or a pact, if you will, to find it. And he spent, I believe, years and years looking for it, unsuccessfully. And after many, many years, he, in working with this land and in reverence with the land, he gave up, or decided to take a break, and laid down somewhere in the nature that was in this area. And when he looked up, he saw blue tourmaline, and the rest is history. So he was able to find it and start mining it, And the more he dug, he realized there are these layers and layers and layers within the earth. And it's just Gary that mines it. For the most part, he, I believe, has helpers now, but for the longest time, he just gets what is available. So it's not this. We're not digging deep within the earth. It's not damaging or marring to the earth like a lot of the other mines are. He is able to get what is there, and it comes up as it's ready. And each layer he names and sort of tries to categorize by the material composition. So some of them might have combinations of all of it. It's pretty hard because it's just kind of like, imagine like a 7-layer dip. If you dip into it, and the more you start messing around in there, it gets kind of all mixed up, and it's hard to definitively mark each layer. So it's not quite as fine-tuned, but for the most part, you can tell each layer has its own name, its own properties, its own unique chemical makeup, its own elemental makeup, and that's what makes them really cool. So they all have unique signatures and unique properties, and it's so fascinating. So some of these I'll be listing in my shop, and some of these I will only be releasing to those who are strongly connected to this material and their unique properties. So you can message me, and I'm happy to share them with anybody who's really in resonance with them. But yeah, I just want to be precious about who I share them with. So like I said, I've bought this lot a year ago, and I've held on to it that long because I just wanted to do it right. So anyway, pennies being precious. So I would say, let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13. There's probably at least 30 at this point, different kinds. I don't have all of them, and I have not worked with all of them. The main two and the first two that you probably would have seen are called Snowball and, let's see, Bliss, I think. And Snowball is white with blue tourmaline in it, and the other is a purple lepidolite mica primary composition. And this one that I spoke about earlier is the Ascension that has iridium in it, and iridium is incredibly rare. It is not often found in minerals and materials. So it's one of my favorites just because it has such a unique signature. And I have these all over my house. I have one in my room. Actually, I have kind of a grid of them in my room, because I like to generate a field of them and just have the entire space be a negative ion field and a magical field. And my other favorite is this one, and it's called Electric. And it has manganese, which is the sort of black, dendritic, almost looking materials. They look kind of like lightning bolts. And iron, zinc, tin, copper, cadmium, gallium, and lead. And for the minerals that are in it, it has lepidolite, spodumene, tantalum, and silver mica. And y'all know that spodumene is one of my favorites, so that's part of why I like this one so much. But can you believe that combination in this material? So Gary also shapes these himself into these towers, and because they are just composites, there really are not crystalline forms other than the tourmalines. They're pretty much microcrystalline, so materials like labradorite or arfetzonite, things like that don't really come as large crystals but are more of a composite. And some of the more popular ones, like this one, is called Red Dragon. And I will read off. Red Dragon has feldspar, which is the, I can get us to focus. There we go. It is the pink material. Quartz, black tourmaline, biotite, which is black mica, and also silver mica. And these are really fun and powerful material. They're named Red Dragon by the Chinese, who really took to this particular one and have loved working with it. And let me see if I can find my list of what is in that one. Iron, cadmium, lead, and copper. So another type. This one is really, and I guess I should mention the properties of each, right? Electric, I find, creates a really beautiful, harmonious field. It's got a lot of lepidolite in it, which is, I've talked about it quite a bit, but both calming and powerful at the same time. It lifts energy, so it lifts up heaviness and transmutes heaviness. And especially with the spodumene in it, is another great transmuter of energies. So this one is just a really powerful transmuter. And the Red Dragon is very grounding. That feldspar and black tourmaline are a gorgeous combination to really ground and clear energy. So not only is this one generating, it's also clearing and helping you kind of stay present in your body, while others like this might kind of lift you off. I've got so many here. I'll just go through a few more. This one, let's see if I can get it, would be called Lavender Sky. And it's pretty much just purple mica or lepidolite. And it's a more gentle feeling crystal. Really just a beautiful harmonizing energy to work with. And let's see what its makeup is. Well, as far as minerals, it's pretty simple, but it's got iron, manganese, zinc, titanium, tin, nickel, cobalt, gallium, lead, and cadmium. So not quite as simple as it looks. And I could take a long time going through all of these minerals, but or elements and metals, but the combination is just so powerful and potent and beautiful and unique. I think it's one best experienced oneself. Another fun one is, they have all colors. This one is really glittery gold. And I believe that this one is just called golden. And it's lepidolite. It's a really fun, sparkly one. And, well, actually, I think this is called the rare golden. So there's a golden that's a little bit less sparkly than this. And the golden has iron, zinc, tin, copper, and titanium. So that's pretty cool. And there's a few other types. This is maybe one of my most favorites, and it's called Illumination, and it's really just mica. So this is a mica book, and these are blue tourmalines, and they all kind of look like this. They just have a few little blue tourmalines in them, and this crystal is so potent. It's incredibly powerful and is extremely high vibrational. It's just one of my favorites in this whole collection. And let's see what we've got inside. Iron, zinc, tin, manganese, gallium, nickel, and lead. Just in this guy. And these are beautiful to work with in meditation to connect to really high conscious energy. Really, your angelic type energy, your star beings, those types of energies. And it's also one of his more rare ones, but I've slept with one of these by my bed, and I don't know if I will be releasing any of these. I might keep them all. But they are available. So the next part of the video, I want to talk about the tourmalines found in this mine. And they look like just your run-of-the-mill kind of lower quality tourmalines. They are soft for tourmalines, and they don't look like much. And there were not a lot of them. So these would be considered probably watermelon tourmaline. They're green and pink. You can't tell from my crazy lighting, but this one has green on the outside and pink on the inside. And there were only a few of these. I think maybe 100 pounds total came out. And Gary worked with my friend Kat to sell them, and so she sold all of them, and she was a great steward of them and a great messenger for them, and got them out throughout the world. And I spoke with her on her website and in some classes about these crystals because of the way that I'd worked with them. And they're very special. So I will just I'm just gonna jump right in. So she asked me to speak about them and work with them to as a person who I would never call myself an expert, but as someone who has been working with crystals her whole life, I have more experience in working with them than she did at the time. So she asked for my opinion and my experience with working with them. And initially, I was not wowed by them. Most crystals that I work with tend to have a strong personality. They come out with, I'm able to immediately pick up on what type of energy it is, what the frequency is, and how I'm able to work with them, how I'm able to meet them and learn from them. And I did not get anything right away from these crystals. And I knew they were powerful, and I knew that they were special, but I was very confused as to why I wasn't getting a strong signature. And that was because once I had learned and worked with them for a while, I just started noticing things happening in my life that were positive. So Penny's back from dinner. Penny loves these crystals, by the way. She laid in the box. I might have to put a picture up of her. They both love them, actually. And they both respond really well to them, she and Gabe. And Gary has told me that cats tend to be very drawn to them, which is, of course. So, by the way, my friend Kat called these Euphoralite Sphinx. I think just because of how special and unique they are, and that she connected sort of with them in the Egyptian sort of archetype. So anyway, I noticed that events in my life were unfolding in a different way. And what I came to learn was that these crystals step back and raise you up. It's not about these crystals and their signature and their vibration. They take a step into the background and highlight you. And I have never worked with a crystal like this in my entire life. They are completely unique in the way that they work and in their signature, and it truly is extraterrestrial, but in a way, in a space-time way, not even in a outer space, but space-time. So I noticed that they started lifting me up and helping me accomplish things in my life. They're in the background, but they are championing for me. And I thought that was really special and unique. But the more I came to work with them, the more I came to understand that they work with space-time. I call them time crystals, because they have such powerful abilities to work with timelines. And I use them, if you're familiar with this concept, the concept of timeline jumping. So ways that we might experience this are glitches in the matrix, things like that. If you are not familiar, there's tons of information on the internet and on Reddit and things like that of people having experiences where they feel like they have changed timelines, and sometimes it's in real time. And I purposefully tried to do this when I was in my early 20s, and it worked. But once you do that, once you sort of break that barrier, and this was said actually about it, you are no longer as fixed in space-time, and you may sort of lose locality, and you start jumping around. And so I've been jumping around ever since. And it can be disorienting. It might be things as simple as I have a scratch on my hand that appeared overnight, or I have a mole on my face that I've never had before, or there's tons. Those are like some of mine that I've experienced. I notice a feature in my house that has not been there before. There's all kinds of things, large and small, that people have experienced. So they're usually not macroscopic jumps to where you would be in a completely different reality, but they're small in a fluid space-time sort of continuum. And what I've learned in working with these specific tourmalines from the specific site of material that has come from not our solar system, that I'm able to use these to help with timeline work. So with setting an intention and putting these in a crystal grid, you can actually help be intentional about your jumping and you can set yourself for your highest timeline, or if you don't want to jump around anymore, just to be still. And I have quite a few friends who I've given these to that experience those types of things and find a lot of comfort in being able to be intentional and hold space for moving through our timelines and space-time and realities and all of that fun stuff. So I like to put them in a crystal grid and have it holding space for me in my timeline work. And that's all of this to say that's very, very, very highly advanced eso and exoteric work that is not for everyone. So that's why I'm very precious with these specific crystals, and like I said, I'm happy to share them. And they do have beautiful properties as well that add to the experience, but that's the main one that they really, to me, are so magical for. And the regular Euphoralite crystals have elements of these space-time anomalies as well. So meditating with these crystals is a very unique experience, and there's ways that you can work with them and the different sort of polarities that they have. So a lot of times it's recommended to take the polarities. So a snowball, which this is a Euphoralite snowball, and it has blue tourmaline, feldspar, quartz, mica, and albite. And it pairs well with the lavender sky or any of the purple lepidolite ones. And you hold them in your hands, and one works with yin, so the white one is more yin, and the purple more yang. They create almost a battery effect, so with positive and negative charges, and they're very clearing in the body. They work super well on the body for energy work and things like that, and you can create almost a circuit of moving energy that way. And you can take 3 of them, so you might add a red dragon, and you can make a triangle and sit in the triangle and meditate. And when I did that, I went out so far, I actually got scared. I was afraid I was going to lose tethered to this reality. That's the farthest I've ever, I felt like I've traveled. And there are beings that are associated with these crystals. And Gary has actually started working on a material that he calls alienite. And he takes the Euphoralite and does these beautiful channeled carvings of the material, and it's just otherworldly. It truly is. And the beings that work through these crystalline materials are beautiful and fun to meditate with, and the sky truly is the limit with how you can work with these crystals. So I could almost do a whole other video just about that, but I wanted to just introduce them in this video and talk about how special and how cool they are. So that's the majority of it. I'm gonna read a list of some of the minerals that have been found in Euphoralite. Albite, almandine garnet, amblygonite, odolite, beryl, bismuth, cassidonite, columbite, elbite, fairfieldite, feldspar, fluorapatite, gold, ilmenite, cosalite, lepidolite, lollingite, microcline, montbrassite, moonstone, mica, quartz, rubellite tourmaline, schorl tourmaline, sphalerite, silver, spodumene, starlite, tantalite, verdolite, triphalite, zircon, and that is one list. There's ones I've never heard of and I don't even know how to pronounce. Uranophane, greenoscite, heterosite, jamsite, cassellite, fairfieldite, over 30 mineral components or elements present are not even classified on our periodic table of elements. So just wild stuff. If you're a geology geek, just to have minerals from this incredible ancient site is enough, I think. But you can imagine all the super cool properties of these crystals and incredible effects from the negative ions just sitting near Niagara Falls all day. So Euphoralite is pretty common now to buy. Like I said, I will be listing some of it in my shop, and I will have some in my local shop that I am opening hopefully in February. So that's big news. all of the components are coming together to make my dream come true and go for it and have a brick and mortar shop here. So more to come on that as I get closer, but yeah, I will have the rest of it there that I decide to part with. So, but definitely, if you can, get your hands on some of this material. I don't think you'll regret it. And, you can just kind of sit with these energies. I'm going to send some energy through this crystal. I believe what we're looking at here is Lolingite. And you can sort of feel into its frequency and its vibration to see how they resonate within you, to help you choose one, since there are so many. And I hope that this is informative and that you connect in some way to this truly special, rare material. And let me know what you think. I think that's about it for this one. I'm so excited to make more videos for you. I've got tons and tons of ideas. I think the next one may be around crystals for anxiety and depression. A lot of us may deal with those unfun qualities of being a human being. So, not that crystals are, prescribed medicine, but I do think they can help. So, yes, let me know what you'd like to learn about, and I'm happy to make a video about it, and much more to come. So thank you so much for sticking with me to learn about this material, and please comment what you think and subscribe if you can, and definitely have a wonderful evening. Penny really... She just wanted to say goodnight too. So thank you. I love you so